Hello friends and fellow travelers through the book of Jeremiah. The words are not coming today, but this is going to be my last take on this video. Okay, let's hope it's smooth for your sake. We're taking a quick look at Jeremiah chapter 26 today. Now this chapter is part of a 4-chapter section, chapters 26 through 29, in which Jeremiah is in constant contact with the false prophets, with those who are not declaring the word of the Lord truthfully. So the chapter begins, chapter 26, with Jeremiah standing in the temple and declaring the word of the Lord. And what is it? That unless these people start to listen to God's servants, the prophets, the temple and the city will be destroyed, just as Shiloh was destroyed long ago by the Philistines. Well, the people don't like that message, do they? And so the prophets and the priests and all the people are ready to put Jeremiah to death when they hear that message. Jeremiah defends himself. His defense is that the Lord had sent him to prophesy against the temple and the city, and that the words he spoke were the Lord's words. At that point, the royal officials and all the people took a stand against the priests and the prophets, and they spared Jeremiah's life. They referenced Micah, the prophet, during the reign of King Hezekiah, and they mention a text from Micah chapter 3 and verse 12 in this particular chapter. And at that time, Hezekiah and the people listened to Micah's warnings, and the Lord spared their land for a while. You remember that, don't you? Then we learn later in the chapter about King Jehoiakim and his pursuit of the prophet Uriah. He found Uriah, brought him back to the city, and executed him by the sword. Now, Uriah is not known elsewhere in our Bibles, but apparently Jeremiah was not the only true prophet during the time, was he? God had other prophets who were speaking his message. The chapter closes with a reference to Ahikam, I hope I said that right. Ahikam spares Jeremiah's life, keeps him from being killed. And for what it's worth, Ahikam is the son of Shaphan, who was the secretary to King Josiah. Maybe that historical background will add some color to chapter 26. Now let's talk about application in this very interesting chapter. This entire chapter reminds us that God's messengers, God's servants, can sometimes be in great danger from those who don't appreciate their message. Well, God has never promised us an easy life, has he? But he has promised that he'll be with us and he'll strengthen us. And we're thanking the Lord in this chapter because we meet people, it seems like for the first time in the book, excuse me. It seems like we meet people for the first time in this book who are willing to stand up for Jeremiah and defend him and support him. And we're thanking the Lord for them, for those who are willing to defend and support someone who is telling the truth. And they're even willing to stand up against the religious authorities of their day, the priests and the prophets. And what an irony is that? I mean, why do they have to stand up against the priests and the prophets? Jeremiah is declaring God's message, and the opposition is coming from the religious leaders? That doesn't seem right, does it? Well, it's not right. No, it's not. But we're talking about the value of those who stand up for people like that, people like Jeremiah, when they are opposed. And so, my message to us today is, let's be those people. Let's be people who love the word of the Lord, and who love to hear it preached and taught, and who love and defend and support those who preach it and teach it. When my preacher is telling the truth from God, I want to be one of his chief supporters, his chief defenders. How about you and your preacher? God bless.